Welcome to the Indices, S&P 500 here on the 2-hour chart. Strong sell-off from the 1900, expecting some sort of sell-off there, but this one was rather strong and the move down is not complete just yet. So it should track out a little bit like I've got it marked on the charts there. So a support at the 1850 here. There is two gaps on the cash market. One here is clear that you can see. There's another one on the 1850, under the 1850 here on the cash that you can't see here on the CFD here, but it's there, and there'll be two targets that you would need to look for on the downside. On the move down through here, we're looking for 5 waves, which this move down here doesn't appear to be completed yet. So once it does, we should see a bounce off this support level here, 1850. The bounce should be in 3 waves because we've got 5 waves coming down through here. So we're looking for a 5-3-5 move back. I've just put it in at the 1872, but it could be anywhere in this little space through here. This is how I've got it counted at the moment. So look, it's just not finished. This little move here you can see is in 3 waves. So yes, look, there can be another little high up into this area through here, but because this is in 3 waves here, that means that we'll see more downside to come. Now, if the extension's in wave 3 here, then wave 5 here will be much the same as 1. So it may not come all the way down to 1850 to start with, okay? So it may catch it in the second bounce. So would be looking for, let's just say, a move from up here and then an A wave, a B wave and a C wave back up to wherever this was in here, and then another move down through to here. So yeah, and that's what we're looking for in the Dow Jones as well. But here I've just sort of gone into a little sort of bit of detail here, and I may not have it sort of right. It's a bit tricky on the 1 and 2 minute charts sometimes to sort of get it right, but one of the main points here, we're under 16,500, the medium level, so straight away we turn bearish. And yes, there will be bounces at every 100 points here, but I sort of see this coming down further into the 16,200 here. So the bounce off the 16.4 here will be what it is at the moment. You can see it's got 3 waves here, so an A wave, a B wave in 3, and a C wave here. So it shouldn't go too much further, and then it'll move down for wave 5 of 3, and then a retest of 16.4 and perhaps a little bit above it, not too much, and then a nice move down to 16.3, where we'll see 16.3 is a minor trading level and also the top of group 1, so we'll see a stronger bounce off here, and this could actually come back and retest the 16.4 here, or the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, because the 4s always line up reasonably well, so we could put these guys in here, but I wouldn't count on this wave 4 moving that far back up, so we'll just pop him there, and we'll put this one a little bit lower just as well here. But further to the downside here for the DJ, and the DJ can be a bit weaker than the S&P 500. Moving on to the European indices, the DAX here hasn't moved down as much, but it has moved down. And I'm looking at this here, the count that I've got here makes this a top of wave 3 here. So I've got little 5 waves up here for wave 1, wave 2 here, and we've labelled this as wave 1 here, and wave 2 here, and wave 3 up to here, because we had little 5 waves in here. And then wave 4 here, we've got 1, 2, all the way up for 3 here, back for 4, and then this is all 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, a little bit sort of dodgy in here, but so I'm just going to leave that for the time being. But I think one of the main points here to understand is that the 955 being the second strongest number, midpoint hasn't been retested yet, so that's highly likely that that's going to play out now. But a couple of important little numbers in here. The 96 is important, obviously, because it's a big round number. The 9650 is also important as well. So all things being equal, we could see a retest of that before we see further downside there. So just be mindful of that if you're seeing a bounce, and that's the number that you would look for there. The FTSE is much the same as well. On the daily chart, all these markets, as you know, we talked about last time we spoke, is that on the daily chart, all of these indices on the daily chart are overbought, and and that's just starting to show up now. And this particular market here. I couldn't get quite a clean count all the way down through here, but once again, we'll need to look at this as being corrective here and move up into this little area through here. These two here, these lows here are approximately the same. If this is the low here, then this is a 5-wave structure up through there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can see another high above here into this trend line before we see a move down through there. Also, we're talking about the 65 number on the DAX, the same here as well. The 65 number here is always important. And look, unless this market gets above 66.72 and finds support, then this trend has got further to unwind to the downside here as well. The Australian market, just go back here a little bit, if you don't mind. I know I've been sort of harping on about this for a little while, but just going to go into sort of a bit left field, a few details here, because this move up through here, you know, this move to here never counted in 5 waves. It was more like an A and then a B in 3 and then a C here. So this always led me to believe that this move up here, whatever happened, was corrective. And the way that we labeled it was the A wave, the B wave here, and then the C wave. Now the C wave has always got 5 waves in it, so we were looking at this in terms of up for 1, back for 2, and then up for 3 here, which wasn't really good, or it wasn't that really clear, but we've got to kind of put it in somewhere. This is a corrective move here, and then up for 5 here, which is not very clear either. We can see the 5th wave here, we can see the 4th wave here, so we'd have to conclude this is wave 1 here, wave 2 into here, then 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 into here. Like I say, not very clear, but that's it. The other thing we understood here is that from 5400 to 5430 is where the supply is coming in from previous price activity over here. So look, it's quite possible that this is quite an important top in play here. It just sort of makes that all of this here can be the corrective rally. Also, what I wanted to point out, I'll come back to this, but I just wanted to point out on CBA here. Now, this has been, well, the banks have been the leading stock. So, I mean, I could look at the banking sector or finance sector or whatever, but we've been talking about CBA, so we'll just sort of stay with it. Now, with CBA, you know, unless this market breaks down, then we won't call the indices down because, as you may recall, we will look at this is a daily chart here, and we're looking at this being an ABC correction. And we were looking hopefully for this to be an impulse wave up. We don't have an impulse wave up so far. We have parts of it. We had this little section here in 5 waves, so we knew that we would be getting 3 waves from here, which we did, and then we know that because we got 5 waves here, then we'll be looking for another 5 waves over here, and I don't see that's completed yet. That would be the 1 back for the 2 here, same as this one here, the 1 and the 2, and the 3rd wave up through here, and the 4th wave coming back now, and the 5th wave up through to here. So I still see this is positive, and in the bigger picture here, this would be a bit like this here. Okay, so that's all. So this stays positive unless it starts to break down. Now, at what point would it break down? And this is important because this would break down the indices point. So we've got this wave 1 here, little ABC for wave 2. Then we'll consider this wave 1 and this back for wave 2. So in one regard or another, we could look at probably at around this little first move up through here. If the market came down through this 76 here, then we would have a problem on our hands at that point there. And what that means in the bigger picture then is that this move here is still corrective to the downside in terms of an ABC to the downside. It just means it will get a larger correction. So then this move up through here would be corrective as well, and then that means we would get a wave C in here. which would bring us back down into this area through here in 5 waves through here. So basically it would be a larger ABC, so an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. So that 76 and 75 area in here would confirm to us that it's this. If this is the leading stock bringing the markets up, well, WBC and so forth as well. But if this is going to break down, then, and this is the point that it would be called broken and breaking down, then we know that the indices that we've got. If I just go back to the indices here, and I'll just bring up a weekly chart here, just to bring in the bigger picture here, because as you know, we'd been looking for, back down to 4,000 here, in one way or another, we'd always been looking for 5 waves up into the 61.8 retracement level of the GFC here, and that's in around I think it's 5.4 from memory or something, and not that it matters, it's close enough. So we'd always been looking for a particular breakdown through here. It was just that CBA was leading us as higher, so we still got to kind of consider that, you know, a top can be in play right here, and this move that we've got down from the high here can be the first move down. And what we've been seeing since 5,264, that whole move up that I've just been talking about as corrective up till 5430 can be the rally. So we could get a move down like this here. I'm not saying that's the case, but we got to consider it because of that corrective move here being, you know, being to the upside here, being corrective at this point here. So, you know, let's just see how this pans out through here, and let's see how CBA goes as well. So it's just something to look for and note, and it means that we'd be turning bearish at that point there. In the short term on the hourly, this would obviously be oversold on the hourly, so we could look at this being down into group 2 here. So once again, this is I don't know, let me check here, see if this is got a price point on that. That low is 78 and that's 78, so it's not making it very easy anyway. So, but what we probably could say is this is the corrective move here, and we'll be seeing a move further down through here as well. But just remember that the market's going to be oversold at this point here. So you know, obviously the cash is going to drop down and so forth, but you know, the time this gets into this lower area through here, it's going to be it's really going to be oversold at that point there. So the move down through here as well, in terms of the Elliott count, I've tried to pull it apart and have a look at it. I can see that this is 5 waves down to this point here, and then I can see that this is probably the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5 coming into this area here. But this would just make this an A and a B and a C to this point here. If we get 5 waves here like this, then we know that if we get 5 in this direction, then we'll get an A, B, C back, and then another 5 in going down further. So that's another way we can look at it. But first of all, we'd need to get past this point here, and that would only give us roughly 3 waves down to this point here. I have tried to pull this apart in some detail here, but I just can't nail it. Just can't nail it properly through here. I can get all of this sort of right. This gets a little bit loose in here, so I'm a little bit unsure about this count coming through here. So yeah, I'm not quite sure, but as I mentioned, this here appears to be corrective, so we should see further moves down in here, but expect support into these areas through here, at least for the short term. So alrighty, well that's it. There's some job figures coming out at 12:30, I think, ANZ job figures, so just keep an eye on those as well at that point. Okay, cheers.